So this is the video where we're going to show you how to sew this flat collar you see on the screen. I did this with a 4-scale body form and it still looked good. I posted this pattern drafting 2 days ago, so just check out and then draft your pattern and then come back to the sewing video, or you can watch and then come back later and sew your pattern. So the fabric I'm going to be using today is calico, and here are my patterns. If you've seen the other video, you would know what we are doing here. Don't forget to add allowance, sewing allowance on your patterns when you are cutting them or before you cut them out. So now I also did an interface. So this interface from the neck to towards the shoulder I marked 3, and from center front inside I marked 8 centimeters. Don't forget to mark this interface because it's a very integral part of sewing these kinds of colors. So now I'm just cutting my patterns out. This is the front pattern. I'll be needing 2 of it. And as you can see, it has a side dart, and you see how I cut my side dart. So for this interface I told you about, you still need an extra for the back. Don't forget to do that when you're cutting yours. So this is our collar. We're going to start our sewing with our back panels. Where I am pointing the pencils at are where my darts are established. So these are my darts. So now I'm trying to copy my darts to my fabric. So I'm doing that with the help of pin. I am pinning at the strategic places from the head of the dart to the center of the dart, and then at the leg of the dart. So this is what I did. Then I'm going to use also the pin, the reflection of the pin at the other end also, as you can see me do, to get my exact dart legs. So this is very important because when I copy them this way, I don't make mistakes. So now I will indicate the sewing allowance. So this is what I'm doing at that point. I'm just highlighting my pattern. So the first sewing we are going to sew is to stitch both of the back panels together at center back. So I'll just take it to the sewing machine and stitch as shown. And as you can see, because my pattern is very small, as I hinted earlier, I'm working with a 1/4 scale dress form. I had to use my zipper foot so that I'll be able to control the sewing seams. Next, we're going to sew our dart. There's a way I hold my darts together. It could be a new thing for you. You could have been doing it this way, or you just have your own method. But this is how I do. At the center of the dart, I pass my pin from one end to the other, and then the line that leads to the head of my dart, I pass the pin towards it and then meet the other side of the leg exactly. And when I have that, I'll start sewing, knowing that my darts, both of them are at the exact place, or they have aligned at where they're supposed to. I hope I'm making sense. So now I'm sewing this dart, and when you're sewing your dart, please make sure that you sew till the legs are so tiny so that when you're ironing you will not have any bulge. So this is what the back panel looks like. We'll set this aside and then bring the front. The front also have 2 panels. It has a side dart and 2 center darts. So I have already done the same thing, but I'm just trying to highlight so that when I sew, I would see what I am doing. So we'll start sewing the side dart before we sew the center dart. We're going to spread our panels and then sew them one by one. So this is how I sew the side panels, and as you can see, I opened up my panel first. Sorry, I opened up my darts. I don't close them. Some people don't cut it open like this. I cut mine open because I want to see what I am doing, and I also add sewing allowance of 1 centimeters before I cut. So now that I've finished sewing, I'm going to sew also the center dart. So this is what the front panels look like. So now I'm going to join both the front and the back panels together. So I will do that by joining at the sides, side to side, and then I'll also join the shoulder while I am at it. So this is what the inside of the pattern looks like, or our project looks like at this point, and this is what the outside of it looks like. It is small, but at least you can see that our pattern is taking shape. Now we have to sew our collar. So in sewing my collar, I don't cut everything out. I just draw my pattern of the collar on a bigger fabric, and then I start sewing from the head, from the head like so. And then I trim the excess fabric. So if you can see closely, you will see that I have already traced the pattern on this fabric, so that I will know that after sewing, my collar is going to be the exact shape to one side to the other. I'm not going to make any mistake. Then next we are going to sew these sides that I am pointing with my biro. But first we have to top stitch where we have sewn already, and then we sew where I showed you. Now this is like the front of the collar. So we're going to trim and leave some extras for sewing. And then after trimming, we're going to turn it over to the good side. So now you have to fold your collar together and notch at the center, so that you'll be rest assured that your collar, both of them, are equal when you finish setting them into your dress or your project. And where you have notch at your center, make sure it sits exactly at the center back as shown. And then we start pinning. So now we are going to attach the collar to the dress we're making, like so, starting from center point to towards the front of the dress. And to make sure that both of our collar head are at the same point, we are going to fold at center front and bring it to the front and make sure that both are at the same spot. Now we're going to set the collar into the dress. So after doing this, our project is ready, but I'm going to show you a little bit how to set your interfacing. We did not get a full video of that, but I will just show you a glimpse of what to do. Look at our collar. Our collar is looking really, really beautiful. So we are going to set this aside and then grab our interface. This is the front, we have two pieces, and this is the back. We are going to open the two panels and then join the shoulder to the dress. So after sewing, this is what the interface looks like, the center front. So now we're going to bring the center front and stitch it with the jacket we had. This is the center front stitch to the dress. We've done both sides of it, and after doing that, we're going to sew the necks together. So we are now going to join the center, the main dress. We're going to join the collar and we're going to join the interface together and then stitch all of them together, making sure that the center front of the dress and center front of the interface meet, and so also should the shoulders all meet together before we sew. So after sewing, this is what my dress looks like. I did the sleeves and a little bit of the other things outside the camera because my battery was dead. But if you already know how to sew, you should be able to do this. This is easy and beautiful. And to get the drafting video, please go back to the video I posted 2 days ago. You would see the same picture of this one for dress form and this exactly jacket on it together. It is really looking lovely. And with this video, you'll be able to make different kinds of flat collars. Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you. Please make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, share with other people who needs to know a thing or two about sewing, and please help us grow. Thank you so much and bye.